What comes to your mind when I say a crime investigator or a forensic expert?
The name's Sherlock Holmes and the address is 221B Baker Street.
नहीं सारुण के यहाँ कुछ तो गड़बड़ है।
नमस्कार जी, मेरा नाम ब्योमकेश बख्शी है।
अब क्या करोगे बख्शी बाबू?
My name is Hercule Poirot, and I am probably the greatest detective in the world.
But hold on. What if I told you about a real-life crime investigator who is a soft-spoken, motherly woman dressed in a traditional Indian sari, complemented with jewelry and a bindi? Difficult to imagine, right? But that's exactly how 72 years old Dr. Rukmini Krishnamurthy is. My colleagues and I met her at her FBI Chicago-styled office in Mumbai Central.
Hello, I am Dr. Rukmini Krishnamurthy. I am happy to share my experience with you in the morning brief.
Her appearance may well deceive anyone. Dressed in a blue sari with a cream border, white hair parted in the middle, adorned with sindoor, a pearl necklace and gold bangles, she stands tall. She has sharp eyes and a commanding voice. She chuckles as she recalls anecdotes from the past, and she heaves at the end of a long answer.
I'm very traditional. Did I send some photos of mine with the 9 yards and all doing puja?
But behind the calm demeanor and conventional look is the not-so-conventional job that she does. Dr. Krishnamurthy is one of the biggest names in Indian criminal forensics. She has been among India's top-notch government crime investigators, founder of the country's first private forensic lab, and India's first female forensic scientist. She has helped solve some of the most critical crimes in the country. The 1993 Mumbai bomb blasts, the Telgi stamp scam, the 26/11 terrorist attack, cases related to underworld gangsters, and scores of individual cases related to dowry deaths, rapes, and murders.
93 blast was handled by me. Just 40 days we worked with the whole team. We couldn't sleep.
From the Economic Times, I am Kiran Somvanshi. And on the occasion of Women's Day, along with my colleagues Anirban Chaudhary and Sumit Pandey, I caught up with Dr. Rukmini Krishnamurthy, Chairperson and CEO of Helik Advisory, India's first private forensic lab. In this episode, we give you a peek into the life and personality of this very interesting woman who 50 years ago broke the glass ceiling of the mysterious world of forensic investigation in India. Her life story is the subject of a Bollywood biopic that is in the works. So listen on as we get you up close and personal with India's first lady of forensics. This is the Morning Brief.
In 76, there was a fire case in Matunga Railway local. Some kerosene has spilled from the can and a cigar butt must have fallen. There was fire, and due to the breeze, it was announced like anything, and 48 people were charged to that.
This was Dr. Krishnamurthy's first major case 2 years after she took up a job in the forensics division.
So we got the kerosene residue. We explained this could be the cause. But as you know, this being a very sensitive case, the authorities wanted to know proof. And this case was done by me. But my director was handling it. I went and said, sir, you are asking me to do, let me see the scene crime. I want to do something on that. He said, now scene crime is over, but they are worried how we prove it.
Dr. Krishnamurthy came up with her own solution which had not been tried by her department before.
So I said, we can do a pilot experiment. So what do you mean? So I said, pilot experiment is to small scale. We can show them this has happened. Reconstruct the scene crime. So I said, it's a new idea. Good. Let's see, what do you want to do? I said, we can ask the railway people to give one compartment, same way spill some kerosene and put a and run that. One compartment may burn, but at least the whole proof will come with a scientific reconstruction. So he appreciated, he took me for that. So we could see how the fire was enhanced and the whole thing was proved. Then the report was given, reconstruction story was given. Then he said, yes, you did a good job. I said, well, sir, we cannot stop at this. We have to go and tell the authority that we should not carry kerosene in public transports like train, bus, or taxi and all. So that such accident doesn't happen. Preventive measures have to be told to them. So he was very taken back, but it did help. We went and told those people. Then onward, this rule has come that no inflammable should be carried in public transport.
Thanks to her, a ride on a train or a bus is a lot safer today. But before we discuss Dr. Krishnamurthy's work, let's rewind a bit.
I'm born, brought up in Nagpur, come from a middle class, very traditional family. We are 5 sisters, 2 brothers. My mother is a very strong personality who always said Saraswati is what one should give it to the child. Lakshmi apne aap aa jati hai. So all of us, she said, whatever the highest qualification is there in your field, you should acquire. So I did my MSc in analytical chemistry and was doing PhD. When just for the sake of applying, I had applied to Reserve Bank and also to the Government Institute of Science in Nagpur. I had also applied to the Public Service Commission in which forensic had come. By God's grace, I got all the 3 appointment letters.
So, what made her choose forensics?
Unfortunately, the boss there was a person known to me who was also from Nagpur, and he knew that I had 2 more appointments. Then he said, when you have Reserve Bank and Institute's post, why the hell are you coming you? And after all, what a lady can do in forensic. So that made me, no, I'm taking up this post. So that's how I joined forensic.
The year was 1974. And as one would imagine, there were many challenges in store for the young Rukmini, the only female in her division. In fact, the story of her challenges,
it's a very big story, everyday story. First of all, they say, usko kya samjhega jab dekho, ye to alag science hai, college mein padha hoga, nahi padha hoga. Then, okay, take her assistance for some table work, and like that, it started with.
she realized that this way it would take years before she got her own cases. And so she started asking questions.
Why don't you allow me to do the analysis? When some of them said, you need to learn for some time. Okay, I agree with you. Teach me. I'm ready to learn for it. But I should also be given cases to do. So somehow they were not very comfortable. Then they allowed me to assist them in some of the few cases. And after a few months, small cases like adulteration of petrol and all, they allowed me to do, but they would sign it. Signing was not allowed. I said, it's okay.
So what were her key learnings?
A forensic scientist, it is not that I do something and keep quiet. I have to explain it into court of law. The defense law will tear me off and make us so uncomfortable. Many of the experts are unable to answer them because they make you very uncomfortable and then start asking questions. So we have to undergo all that. And in forensic, it's not clean material. It's all concoction. Debris, or if it is a terrorist attack, all the explosives are mixed with so many things. From that, you find out what trace explosive was used. So it's very hard task. At the same time, one thing we have to keep, my finding is to decide the life of a person. So I have to be careful and I cannot afford to lose. I cannot get another second sample. Whatever sample I have to do. So that's why we are trained in a way to handle such things.
But it took some time for her to get used to the vagaries of her job, the sheer cruelty with which crime was committed, and the brutality of it all.
We are a little emotional. First case which I read of a kerosene residue, the husband pouring kerosene on a wife and burning her off because she didn't bring in the dowry and all like that. More than doing the case, the whole night I was, how can he pour kerosene? What must have happened to the lady? How she died? She must have screamed that, what not, my goodness. I was getting mad. Then the next day I was so worked up and all. So my boss, he was a good fellow. Immediate boss, Mr. Pai, said, क्या हो गया मैडम? अरे कल का वो स्टोरी पढ़ा मैं. अरे यहाँ पर स्टोरी भी नहीं मत पढ़ो. रोज स्टोरी पढ़ोगे तो स्टोरी. It will be murder, rape, and this only. And what will you do? We have to do the cases. No, he said, don't get emotional. You are appointed for that, to do the analysis and not think about what is happening in the society.
Over the years, Dr. Krishnamurthy gained nerves of steel to handle far more serious crimes. Right from the 1993 Mumbai bomb blast case to Nagpur Naxalite murder case, from Alistair Pereira hit-and-run case to Goa Scarlet murder case, from the JJ Hospital stolen baby case to a number of DNA cases, from Kingfisher Airlines scam to VSNL corporate espionage case, she has investigated them all. In fact, she and her team conclusively solved the 1993 bomb blast case in just 40 days.
Right in 93 blast, our report and Interpol was matching. What else I can tell you? Luckily, in 91, I was selected as UN fellowship by United Nations Drug Control Program and given training in Singapore to find out drugs in urine and blood, biological fluids. That time, UNDCP had given funds to all the country, and to our lab, it gives 1 crore of worth instruments. And in 93 blast, we could use this instrument and give the best of the report.
And there have been instances where Dr. Krishnamurthy stood her ground against pressures.
If you're strong, you can stand it. That's all. Police mein hai, medical mein hai, sab jagah mein hai. That part is always in every part of the life. So you have to stand strong.
But what about the pressures from the family?
Earlier, it used to be little difficult, but both my son and daughter, they were very happy because they knew I'm doing something very different from other mom. So they used to be proud of it at the time, but sometimes they used to feel very sad. I think I told you or not, my son was 2 years when I left him because he had fever with my sister. So they just gave him a calendar and pen to scratch. It happened to be a red pen. So he started crossing everything red, then started clapping. So my sister asked, what? Red, mama at home. So Sunday, if it is red, it's mama. So he crossed the whole calendar so that the whole month I should be at home. So it's emotional things which you take, but we can't help it. See, even now when I see the calendar, I remember that instance.
Soon after she retired as the head of the Directorate of Forensic Science Laboratory, Maharashtra, she started her own forensic firm, Helik Advisory Services, in 2012.
You have government laboratories in all the states and regional laboratories. CBI laboratory at Delhi, then Central Laboratory at Chandigarh, Hyderabad, Kolkata, Bhopal, Pune, and so many places. Now, these government laboratories take cases only from the police. But if someone wants something to be analyzed, they cannot do unless they make a police complaint. So that time I had in mind that after retirement, maybe an authentic laboratory I will start, which will have a good status at the same time. We made it a point to be a recognized research center by the National Forensic University, so that whatever we are doing, we send to them and we have a connection with it. So this gave a good footage for us. Then many cases like handwriting, documentation, then scene crime, regular forensic advice, lie detector plays havoc. If I can relate some of the stories, more interesting than what I did in FSL.
So Dr. Krishnamurthy did share some of these interesting stories.
So a very big pharmaceutical organization, they had felt that some group is working in intellectual property, theft and manipulating and all that stuff. They didn't know how to go about with it. So somehow some police said, Madam ko pucho, she has a lot of forensic experience, she will guide you. I said the best way is to go for lie detector. It's a simple scientific thing which indicates a person is lying or not. So we did lie detection for 100 people, right from director to the fume of that particular department. And we caught 6 people. After that, we did the interview and they agreed to it. It is known as technical confession. Yes, I did this. And we are independent people. We are not connected with this people or this people. We are saying your results are there. You have done this, we can tell you. Then he confessed, yes, this is what we did.
But one may wonder how conclusive is the result of a lie detector test. It's not even accepted in the court of law as evidence.
It is a corroborative evidence. It is not the independent evidence, it's a corroborative. It can build up case like anything. So there are many cases. Even Telgi case, Telgi ka pura case, there was no eyewitness. Only by narco and brain mapping it was connected. And we were the one, when I was director, the whole case of India was done by us because Supreme Court found we did the best of the 13 to 14 feature comparison on the staff.
As crime has turned online, Helik has ramped up its digital forensic services.
So we are doing very well in mobile forensics, digital forensic right now. We do cases for economics offense wing, we do for government, we do for ED, GST, everyone, Sebi, and normal corporate cases. So very soon we are thinking to come up with the cyber crime advisory team. Because many people, any one of us, don't know next what to do. So now we have made a protocol, what can be done. The person has to approach us. We will tell them what all they have to do and how to approach the cybercrime. Even cybercrime will be happy if we can cumulatively give the data properly to them in time. They can stop or retrieve what you have lost.
My mother is 72 years old and she struggles to keep up with the latest digital technology. How does Dr. Krishnamurthy manage?
Yeah, I do also struggle here and there. But as I know, I am into the field, so I should have at least some basic. I won't say that what my digital experts can do, I will do. But at least I know what are the digital crimes which are happening, how to handle it. And in the digital crime, a digital expert can do a digital analysis, but to give a forensic touch to that, that is my expertise.
But it is not easy to prove digital crimes in the court of law.
It's very difficult because the judges are yet to come up to that, to understand. The defense lawyers misuse it. With time, it will come up. And we have to channelize properly and standardize properly.
If courtrooms frustrate Dr. Krishnamurthy, so do the depictions of forensic crimes in movies and TV shows like Crime Patrol and CID. Dr. Krishnamurthy told me that she has repeatedly advised makers of TV shows and movies to stop showing depictions of DNA tests and investigations that are clearly misleading and far from the truth.
I'm little bothered about the film and the TV show, which depicts forensic in a very wrong way, like taking a test tube and showing DNA, etc. We all know that film and the press media are the source for taking information to common man. So if authentic films are taken out on forensic, it will send a correct picture of the forensic working in the country. Like in Sacred Games, we were attached as an forensic advisor to them for all the scene crime and all. We are going to have a corporate training with the collaboration with National Forensic University. अभी हम केसेस करते हैं, बट उनको ट्रेन भी करना है कि क्राइम कैसा होता है और उसको आप कैसे प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं, और क्राइम हो गया तो किसके पास भेजने, ऐसे टाइप का ट्रेनिंग देने के लिए वी आर स्टार्टेड कॉर्पोरेट forensic training center. So in this even film we are going to take up how they should prepare so that it stand in OTT like Netflix or Adobe.
From advising the movie industry on getting their forensics right, to now having a movie being made on her life story.
Yeah, I'm happy because I'm a person who like common people to know more about forensic.
And all of this passion inspired actor-producer Harman Baweja to turn her life story into a biopic.
I had a director friend who kind of came to me and spoke to me a story about Dr. Krishnamurthy and everything that she's achieved in life. And it was almost instantaneous that I was like, okay, I need to dig deeper into her life story. And it kind of worked out pretty well. I think I reached out to her, I think it was COVID times that time. So we kind of had to wait till things settled down. Met her. And I think the fascination and the excitement to make something on her kind of doubled down when I met her, because she's very enigmatic. She's very thorough. She's, of course, a phenomenal achiever and extremely academic. But at the same time, she is also compassionate. So for me, it kind of just made this perfect person on whom I would love to kind of deep dive and make a biopic on.
And do you think audience would be interested in knowing, because it's a branch like forensics, which not many people know about?
I actually feel, that may pretty much be the reason why people will be excited, is because we don't know much about it. We've always seen forensic in films or in shows, and we only understand it as simple as, fingerprints or, blood marks and stuff like that, which I think is pretty much the very, very top layer of forensic. And obviously this is thanks to Dr. Krishnamurthy, that now that I've kind of deep dived into it and realized that forensics is so deep.
Can you give us details about your plans, about when is it going on floor and when is it likely to be released?
Absolutely. So we've actually been interacting with her and writing this script, I think, for almost a year and a half now. And I think we're sort of almost there. I think another 6 months we should have it in hand, and hopefully hit the shooting floor by the last quarter of this year. So yeah, excited.
And just the last thing, whom
Sure.
do you have in mind to kind of play Dr. Rukmini Krishnamurthy?
Well, I would have to admit that would be a little too soon right now. I wish I could, but we typically do think of actors when we start writing scripts. So I guess another 3-4 months, you shall find out.
So does the First Lady of Indian Forensics have any plans to retire anytime soon?
What is retirement? Why should I retire? I'm not retiring from life. So I do whatever I like. So forensic is my liking.
This liking is evident from the way Dr. Krishnamurthy has been actively involved in building forensic science capabilities in the country.
Now, after my retirement, I was the technical advisor where we started 3 institutes of forensic science. These 3 institutes were started by me. I was the technical advisor, and now it is running. And these have BSc Forensic Science and MSc Forensic Science. And many of these students are into Big Four and so many.
And one of her students, Onkar Patil, went on to work with her at Helik Advisory.
Mani ma'am and me had a special bond because as a student of forensic science, when I joined my degree college, so she was the lady who had led the core foundation of Forensic Institute in the state of Maharashtra. With my good luck, I had an opportunity where there was a recruitment which was going on in Helik Advisory Limited. So that was the most awaited moment in my life, my dream come true as a student of forensic.
This is Dr. Krishnamurthy's way of giving back to her profession and building the science of forensics for the next generation in the country. As we celebrate the achievements of the first woman forensic scientist and all the women who have broken the glass ceilings in our society, we have to acknowledge that a lot of ground is still to be covered. It's only this year that India got its first women fighter pilots. Last year, market regulator Sebi got its first woman chief. And we have just seen the first women's IPL being rolled out. A recent study has shown that 1 in 10 women in India Inc. attain leadership roles. Hope we are able to change all this soon and have enough women that are done breaking all the glass ceilings that are there to break and fill up all the first women to be positions that are left to be filled. And even as I say that, we women continue to play the demanding role of being a wife, a mother, a homemaker, and a caregiver. Battling the discrimination coming our way, the lack of acknowledgement of our domestic duties, and often the lack of physical and financial independence. The role that women play in society needs to be better acknowledged. And Women's Day is just an occasion to emphasize that. And on that note, wish you all a very happy Women's Day and more power to all of us. So that's it for today. This is your host Kiran Somvanshi from the Economic Times. You have been listening to India's First Lady of Forensics only on the Morning Brief. A big thank you to the star of our episode today, Dr. Rukmini Krishnamurthy. Special thanks to Harman Baweja for sharing his plans. And thank you for tuning in to this podcast brought to you by the team Economic Times. Show producer Sumit Pandey, sound editor Indranil Bhattacharjee, executive producers Anupriya Nair, Anirban Chaudhary, and Arijit Burman. We hope you like this episode. Do share it on your social media networks. The Morning Brief drops every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. The Morning Brief is now streaming on Amazon Prime Music and JioSaavn, apart from Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And of course, ET's own audio platform, ET Play. Do tune in to ET Play, our latest platform for all audio content. All clips used in this episode belong to the respective owners, credits mentioned in the description.